So hello there and welcome back to the channel. This is Mels Gaming here with another The Hunter Call of the Wild video. Now this video is going to be a compilation of a whole load of different trophy clips, starting off with a few older clips that were actually taken during my Great One tar grinds. And we're starting off with this absolutely huge level 5, and I knew he must be massive because those horns are just insane. And he ends up scoring 107.54. Now 107.6 is sort of the biggest I've seen. I think my biggest is 107.69, and I didn't even think he was going to be that big, so I didn't actually end up recording that one. But that seems to be sort of the upper end for level 5 Diamond Tar. They do seem to sort of get into that 107.5.6 range and not a whole lot bigger. And we actually have another giant level 5 here. I knew he had to be big with an estimate like that. And he ends up scoring 107.48. This guy is also the straw fur type, which is really cool. I actually did end up getting 107 plus diamonds for all of the common and uncommon furs for the tar from my Great One grinds. So I was really happy with that. Now, moving on to the next clip, and we have a little bit of an unfortunate one in a way. This was a guaranteed super troll black fur type tar. Now, I say unfortunate in a way because I can't complain. I ended up with 4 super rare tar from my Great One tar grinds, including a diamond black fur type tar. So when I saw this guy and saw that he was a guaranteed troll, I wasn't too upset. Obviously, it's always sad to see a guaranteed super troll, but it hurt a lot less knowing that I already had a diamond black fur type tar in the trophy lodge, but still an interesting kill to end up getting on these grinds. Now, moving on to this next one, and we actually have a really big gold scoring red fur type tar at 99.82. Now, this also goes to show that not all rare tar score at the top of their estimates, because as you will see, this guy definitely did not score at the top of his estimate, but this is most definitely a beautiful rare, and one that I was really happy to get a good size one of for the trophy lodge. Now, we also, from this same zone, ended up getting a pretty good size white fur type tar. Of all of the rare fur types for tar, the white fur type was the one that I didn't get a particularly sort of massive example of. So I was really happy when this guy actually spawned and I knew he should be a good size gold, because it meant that I would have, you know, a decent size gold or better for each of the rares in the lodge. And he scores 93.03, so he is a good size gold still for this rare fur. And I mean, they are really pretty. They're not my favourite for the rares, just because they are not quite as clean as the albinos. And speaking of albinos, towards the end of my Great One tar grinds, I got super lucky and ended up having several albino spawn. And it was really funny to me because it took forever for me to get one albino tar to spawn. Like, it just took thousands and thousands of kills. And they ended up being the last rare that I needed to have all of the different rare fur varieties for tar. And then I finally got an albino, and it was a really big one. And then after that guy spawned, I just ended up getting, you know, more and more and more that kept showing up. And I was always really excited because the albino tar are really rare. They're definitely the rarest of the rare furs. And they're just so beautiful. Like I said, I like the white fur type, but the albinos, they're just so clean in comparison. It almost makes the white fur type look like a sort of an albino that's got dirty looking fur. And I much prefer the albinos. I just think they're absolutely stunning. Everything about them, they're so detailed with their, like, the detail on their noses, like I showed when I zoomed in on the one that we shot in the first albino clip. And then they have these just so vivid pink eyes. I mean, they're really gorgeous. They remind me of, like, little unicorns. I just love them. I absolutely love them. So every time an albino ended up showing up, I would get really, really excited. And it was like, for me, almost like getting another Great One Tar. And I've been so excited to put these clips into a video. And it's just, you know, like I said, it's just been so chaotic that I just haven't had chance. And I'm so glad I finally get to put these in a video. Now, this guy was actually the biggest of all the albinos I had show up, and he's absolutely massive. And with that top estimate being 100, looking at his horns, I knew he should be at the top of his estimate, and sure enough, when we pick him up here, as you can see, he scores 100.18. So, as a level 4, not that far off from actually being a diamond. And, you know, those horns, you see that in the lodge, that's basically as big as some of the smaller end diamonds. He's just huge. Like, to me, that is an insane trophy. And the first albino I got was a really big one too. So I have a couple of really, really good size albinos, and I wish there was a multi-mount for like multiple male tar, because I've got all these albinos and I'd love to put some of them in mounts together. But moving on from albino tar to an albino tiger. And I mean, this guy is just beautiful. Now, I did do the video recently called Beautiful Tigers, where I showed off a few of the different tiger rare furs in like close-up detail. And this guy was actually the second albino I had spawn, which is why he wasn't in that video and instead is in this video. But the albinos are so cool. I mean, the eyes on these guys are just insane. They look so crazy with sort of the red lines going through them. Absolutely stunning cats. Now, I also ended up having this guy show up during my tiger grind. A level 5 gold fur type male. Now, I'd had several gold fur type females, both in single player and multiplayer. And when I looked at this guy initially, I didn't see much of a difference between the male variation and the female variation for this fur, because for a lot of the different variations for the tigers, there are differences between the male and female furs, whether it's just the eyes or the actual markings and fur itself, like with the melanistics. But when I put this guy next to a gold female in the lodge, it was actually very clear that the male gold fur type tigers are actually darker in colour and have sort of darker and more pronounced stripes than the females, and more stripes. So that was really interesting to see, and I'm really glad I got a male so I can actually have the two sort of variations in the lodge. And this guy barely scrapes gold as a level 5, as he scores 48, so that was actually really lucky. Tigers are really weird. You can have level 5s making gold, which doesn't happen with other species, and you can have level 8s that aren't max weight estimate. It's really strange. Like, for some reason, the tiger scoring is pretty different to any of the other species. And you can have level 8 diamond tigers as well. That happens quite frequently. So tigers are just interesting with their scoring. How much of it is intended and how much of it is maybe not intended, I have no idea. But they are certainly interesting. The first time I saw a mythical that wasn't max weight estimate, I was like, what's going on? But it's just a thing. And so are gold level 5s. Now, on the river, I ended up encountering this level 1 white fur female tiger. And again, this was during my tiger grind, and I hadn't checked the river for a while. And this was right outside one of the outposts. I literally left the outpost, ran maybe 100 meters, and she was walking into her drink zone. So that was really, really crazy to actually see. And the white tigers are just so, so beautiful. Now, from a rare tiger to a legendary tiger, and this guy had a pretty big estimate, so I was crossing my fingers, managed to drop him with a heart shot, and upon picking him up, he was my first ever max score Bengal tiger. Max score for these guys is 60, and 324 kgs is the absolute max for this species. Now, I actually have since had another max score tiger, but he had a terrible estimate, and I had, I really didn't think he was going to be very big at all, and I didn't actually end up recording it, because I've found quite a lot of diamond tigers at this point, and I didn't want to fill a video with diamond tigers necessarily, because I know you guys have seen a lot of them, probably, throughout the community, and so I didn't record it, and then he ended up being max score, and I was like, what? That was the most insanely bad estimate for a max score animal ever. But I'm glad that my very first max score I did actually get to record. Now, moving from tigers to Tibetan foxes, and we have this. A diamond tawny fur type Tibetan fox. I was so pleased to get this guy. And he's actually quite a big diamond Tibetan fox at 6.59. This guy was in single player. I've been shooting a lot of Tibetan fox in single player, looking for some of the rares, and he actually ran past me while I was hunting snow leopards, and I tracked him to a drink zone eventually and managed to take him out. But the tawnies look so cool and are actually like an uncommon, so that was really, really cool to get. Now, also, while I have been shooting Tibetan foxes in single player, I had this show up. This is actually a sand fur type Tibetan fox. Now, these are actually a rare. There's a couple of unusual named rares for the Tibetan fox. So you have your normal albino and melanistic. There's also leucistic, but there's also sand, as we see here, and smoke. And both of those are rares as well. So there's quite a variety of rares for the Tibetan fox. And I really like the sand fur type. It looks almost like the leucistic grey fox. It's sort of that yellowy golden colour. It's really, really gorgeous. And even in the night vision, this stands out like a sore thumb. It is so bright. And it is almost like another leucistic variation. But it's called sand, which is, completely unique. So that's really, really cool, and I was so excited to actually get one on my own map. Now, another trophy that ended up spawning on my map from a species I've been grinding was this guy, a huge 9 legendary yak. Now, I have actually been grinding to try and get the different rares in single player as males, because I've had a couple of rare females, and I really, really want to get rare males for the Trophy Lodge. And I knew this guy looked pretty big with those wide set horns. It always seems to be the wide set ones that score really high. And when I picked this guy up, I was in shock. 285.04. That is massive. I have seen a lot of diamond yak posted. They're one of the more common diamonds here on Sundarpatan. I'd say the yak and the blue sheep are probably the two most common diamonds on this map. And they don't seem to get a whole lot bigger than 285 point something. I don't think I've seen a 286. I might have. But that's a huge diamond, and I was super, super pleased to get one that's on the upper end of the scale for diamond yak. But something even cooler ended up spawning. I said I was looking for rare males. This is at the same lake, obviously at a different time, but actually when this guy spawned, there were 2 legendaries at this lake too. This is my favourite lake on the entire map to grind yak, because it doesn't matter if you delete the zones up here. It's this top lake in the very top right corner of the map. It doesn't matter if you delete zones, they end up coming back here. So I just come here and shoot as many male yak as possible, and this gorgeous albino ended up spawning. And when I showed up here and I just saw this huge glowing white animal, I knew finally I had a rare yak here on my own map. And then I spotted it and it was a level 7. And I was just so pleased. I mean, that is such an amazing looking animal. Actually, just incredible. Obviously, we saw the albinos during one of the reveal streams from EW. But to see one in-game in person, if that makes sense, was a whole different experience. Just such an amazing looking animal. Now, since I actually ended up getting this guy, I have since learned that there are actually 2 variations for the albino. There's actually one that's more fluffy and one that has sort of less fluff. And this is the variation that has less fluff on it. And you'll see like the sort of top of the back and the front of the face don't have quite as much fluff as you'll see on other yak. The other variation for the albinos does have a lot more fluff, and I actually do prefer the fluffier version, but I'm not going to complain. This is my first rare male yak, and I'm super excited. The albinos seem to be like the harder fur type to get in general, either variation, so for this to be the first rare male that shows up is amazing. I'm so pleased. Like, I couldn't believe it when I spotted him. He's just incredible looking. But I was sat here the whole time thinking, he doesn't look as fluffy as some of the other ones I've seen posted. And I wondered if it was my graphics or something. But no, there just is 2 albino variations, which I didn't know. So I think that's really interesting. But such a gorgeous animal, and one that I'm so incredibly thrilled to be able to add to my trophy lodge. And now, for the end of this video, I kind of messed up a little bit because I was running around in multiplayer and I got the track of a max weight estimate woolly hare. Now, I followed this thing for quite a while, as you can see, 1.92 kilometers, and I saw that it was a level 2. Now, I have shot a lot of level 2 max weight estimate woolly hare, and none of them have been even really close to making diamond. So I saw that this was another level 2 and I kind of went, another level 2. I really want to find a level 3. Why are hares always so mean to me? You know, because if you know my struggles with mountain hare, it's just I don't have good luck with hares. So I just shot it with the 22 through brush, so you didn't miss a particularly exciting shot. You know, you shoot a rabbit with the 22 and it just drops. That's all that happened. Ran over and picked it up, and it was a freaking diamond, and I was like, what? Like, the diamond medal popped up, and I just kind of sat there in shock, and I was like, oh, I should hit record. I missed recording the shot, and I was so annoyed that I didn't actually get the shot recorded as footage as well. And I have, ever since I shot this guy, I have been just trying so hard to get another diamond one where I actually have the footage of me shooting it, because it just feels like such a shame that I don't actually have the footage of me shooting this guy. Because I was just so frustrated. I was like, oh my gosh, why is it another level 2? Now, I know level 2s could make it. I've seen a couple posted, but it's not exactly a common thing. Like I said, I've shot goodness knows how many level 2s, and none of them, like I said, have been that close. And this guy, he's not even got the right weight. He's 3.25 kg, but scores 3.28, which is the exact diamond requirement. Like, he's on the money to make diamond. So basically what happened there is any animal that the trophy type is weight, like hares, rabbits and stuff, certain predators, you can get a little bit of variation between the actual weight and score. So you can get an animal that actually weighs over the requirement, technically, and then doesn't make diamond because you've got a low trophy rating. Or you can end up with animals like this, where it's not quite there for the weight, you know, being only 3.25 kg, but it's got a high trophy rating and scores 3.28 kg. Now, I don't know why that variation is a thing. It's never been explained, but it is a thing, and you'll see it with different animals, like I said, foxes, hares, rabbits and stuff, where there'll be a bit of variation. And for this guy to get a high trophy rating and just make diamond, literally on the money, is insane. I'm extremely glad to have a diamond woolly hare, but I really want to try and get another one and actually have it either as a level 3 or as a level 2 that I actually recorded. I have been religiously recording every level 2 max max weight estimate hair that I have found since this, because I was like, there's no way the one that I decide not to record ends up making diamond. So that's not going to happen again, because every one I find I'm going to hit record. But we do have a diamond woolly hair, which means that the only diamond, once again, that I'm missing in this entire game is the mountain hare. So that's gonna be a thing. I'm gonna have to leave Sundarpatan and go back to Revontuli and go back to hunting mountain hare at some point. I'm not sure I'm gonna do it, yet, but it will happen because I want to get every diamond in the game again, and the mountain hares have been a thorn in my side ever since they were added. I've had 4 rares for them, still no level 3s ever seen, and no level 2s that have made it. So that will have to be a thing. I will have to go back and try and get a diamond mountain hare. And who knows, maybe getting a diamond woolly hair will be like my curse breaker, kind of like when I got my first super rare, and then I've had super rare since. Maybe getting this diamond woolly hair will be like the breaking of my curse with hares in this game. Who knows? We'll have to see what happens. But that is going to be it for this video. A lot of different clips. I hope my voice hasn't sounded too bad throughout. I'm struggling a little bit with allergies on top of everything else at the moment. So I don't know when the next video will be. It's like I said, and I've said, on multiple posts and in multiple videos, my real life is absolute chaos at the moment with lots of family stuff going on, and I'm just ploughing away, trying to get through everything. And basically when I can make a video, I will sit and make a video. But I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who is sticking with the channel despite the huge irregularity with any kind of content schedule, and just all of the support and love you guys have shown and continue to show. You are all so amazing. I read your comments and I get choked up quite often by how kind a lot of you are. It really does mean a huge amount, so thank you very, very much for that. But like I said, that is going to be it for this one, so thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.